Pema Chodron says, generally speaking, as humans, we regard discomfort in any form as really bad news. And yet, she says, for justice and spiritual warriors, when bad things happen and we find ourselves feeling disgusted, disappointed, resentful, angry, fearful, and outraged, we will also finally find ourselves fully awake. These moments, she insists, give us clarity as they teach us to pay attention to what is holding us back. These moments wake us up as they teach us to lean in when we would rather collapse and back away. Almost in a whisper, Chodron writes, these moments are like messengers that show us with a sacred clarity exactly where we are stuck. We are now living in one of those moments. While we would never wish them so, since they are with us right now, we can choose to only curse them, or we can look at them as places that have much to teach us about ourselves and about those with whom we share this world. Perhaps like me, you felt after everything that happened this fall that it was a good time for a long winter's nap. And perhaps you also believe that if that nap lasted long enough, we might awaken to a changed world where everything had been made right. How lovely it would have been to find after the long nap that the destruction and the chaos had only been a bad dream, and that nothing new that was horribly unbelievable had taken place while we were asleep. No such luck with any of that. The followers of Jesus in our scripture text today were overwhelmed. They were disgusted, disappointed, resentful, angry, fearful, and outraged, and they were trying to sleep it off. They were in the process of going back to the life they knew before, the life they knew before they heard the call of the one who asked them to follow a new path. When these followers had first agreed to go on the journey with Jesus, they did not know that in the midst of being part of a life-changing revolution, their lives would be turned upside down. Each and every day, this path asked them to become people who could no longer look away from those who were being battered and bruised by unjust Roman occupiers and religious leaders. Religious leaders who had turned away from the very people the scriptures instructed them to care for. The followers of Jesus had no idea that in the midst of the seemingly bright future that was before them, the rug would be pulled out from underneath them. Many of us believed after COVID that we were on a new path, a path that would take us back to all the progress we had made, the progress we'd made with leaders who were brave enough to break suffocating boundaries, to chart new hopeful and peaceful courses. Even in a still very patriarchal system, we believed that our leaders would now put us back on an ever-expanding path that took pride in who we were once again. This was a path that believed owning up to our mistakes of the past would help us build a new future bright with promise. This was a path and a course for diversity, equality, and inclusion. It was a path that believed in children's and families, education and women's rights, and affordable and accessible health care for all. It was a path that sought peace around the world, and it was a path that would save all of us, not just pad the pockets of the rich and the power hungry. But before we knew it, twice in the last 10 years, we have found ourselves once again in a world we never imagined. Our grief seems never ending as we continually, day after day, watch the fabric of our lives being shredded. And yet, in this time and place, every day, we are being given opportunities to open ourselves up to resisting. I watched last night some of the videos of people in LA who, when they see the powers that be coming in to take people off of the streets, to take them away from their families, these people turn into warriors. They are standing up for those people. They are saying, leave them alone. They're trying everything they can to get between them. And when that doesn't work, they're saying, give me your name. Give me your name. I'll find you. Those are not experiences any of us would ever dream would be in front of us. It turns out the most difficult and precious opportunities are presenting themselves each time when we come to the place where we think we absolutely cannot handle the latest atrocity. I know right now it feels like way too much, and it is. It is hard to not feel bad about everything. There is no way we can personally change these situations to make everything turn out for the good of all. And no matter how hard we try, we still find ourselves mired in the rhetoric of each day's particular drama. Deep in our hearts, we know we are not the first, we will not be the last who will know these moments. So Chowdhury asks, what if this moment, this very moment, is the perfect teacher we didn't even know we were waiting for? It is not in our nature to take on these experiences as learning situations. We automatically hate them. We run from them like crazy. We use all kinds of ways to escape. Chowdhury suggests perhaps all addictions stem from moments like this, moments when we meet our edge and we cannot tolerate it, moments when our hearts ache for the world and we feel like we are drowning because we fear nothing we do will make a difference. Sometimes we feel we have to soften it, pat it with something, and we become addicted to whatever it is that eases the pain. She even suggests that the rampart materialism we see in the world stems from these moments. And it makes me wonder, what kind of pain brought so many of our current leaders to the places they now stand? There are a myriad of ways that have been intentionally invented to entertain us away from this very moment, to soften its hard edges, to deaden the noise so we don't have to feel the full impact of the pain that arises when we cannot change the course and avoid the coming collision. So Chowdhury, because she is a Buddhist nun, believes that meditation is an invitation we need to explore when we reach our limit. And perhaps meditation might keep us from getting carried away by fear and even by hope. I used to think of meditation as an escape, and I began meditating when something horrible happened in our life. I was stuck knee-deep in mud, and I could not move. Thankfully, I found a Zen Christian spiritual director. Some of you have heard me talk about him before. He was a hospice chaplain. He was about 6'4" and probably weighed maybe 180, and he had long gray hair that hung down his back. Most of the time, he put it in a ponytail. He was the most dear person that you could imagine to have for a spiritual director. I slowly learned through meditation that it is possible to see more clearly what is actually going on with our thoughts and emotions, frightening as they may be. And with a spiritual director who helped me, I was able to begin unpacking all of that. Perhaps most importantly, he taught me that when we see our thoughts and emotions more clearly, we have the possibility of letting them go. Chodron says the most encouraging thing about meditation is that even if we shut down, we can no longer shut down in ignorance. She insists we will be able to see very clearly that we, in fact, are closing the door. And that in itself begins to illuminate the deep shadows of ignorance. When we become able to see how we run and hide, how we keep ourselves so that we never have to let our hearts be hurt, then we are in a place where we are also able to see the possibilities of opening and leaning into how we can best help those who need us the most. I have found that I have been holding my breath a lot lately. I did not realize it. And occasionally, when I'm doing things, I just suddenly realize that I'm holding my breath. I realize it is undoubtedly the result of not meditating like I used to, because the fact is, you do have to breathe when you meditate. And when we can breathe, we can fully access our capacity for compassion and kindness and goodness. After that long night in the boat, the followers of Jesus who could not get their bearings or catch any fish were able to be open to someone they did not recognize, giving them instructions on something they already knew how to do. I don't know about you, but I'm ready for some instructions, even if I think I know how to do it. Thank goodness we already know how to give food and clothes and love to our neighbors who are hanging onto hope with every ounce of strength they have. And while there are many things we are not capable of changing right now, we can work in our gardens to plant, tend, and harvest the food we are growing. We can help sort all the donations for the next clothing closet. We can help with the Saturday project for the children that surround us. We can give from our resources to fund the work of this community. On Thursday night, I went to the Hollywood Bowl. We don't go often. And I felt a little guilty about going to the Hollywood Bowl because I really didn't have time. But our friends were here from Dallas, our very best friends, and it was one of their birthdays, their 60th birthday, a big birthday. So we went to see Earth, Wind, and Fire. I don't know one single song of Earth, Wind, and Fire. They apparently were not my favorite back in the day. Now, Carole King, Bruce, I know all those songs. So I sat there. It was lovely. We had food. We were enjoying ourselves. It just so happened that I got stuck in a corner to where I couldn't stand up and dance and do all that stuff. But that was really okay because I didn't know any of those songs. And so I was trying to just kind of be cool and be there. But the best part of that night was that I saw LA. I saw Los Angeles. I saw all the diversity. I saw all the socioeconomic differences. I saw all the ages. And it was such a beautiful display. And when they did that weird thing where you take out your phone, I don't know how to turn the light on my phone either. So I'm kind of out of that one. So when you take out your phone, you turn the light on and you do this, oh my gosh, It was like suddenly I was with 17,000 of my closest friends. And I was remembering the joy. It is so hard right now to remember the joy and to grasp it. But we can help each other recognize that while this moment in time can serve as our teacher, we simply cannot wait to live until the tide changes. We cannot wait until better circumstances appear. We cannot push away our current reality. But what we can do is to lean into the presence with mindfulness, with open hearts, and we can, together and separately, look for joy everywhere we can. Together, we can learn to embrace whatever arises in this time that is filled with divine opportunities for us to awaken to the Holy One. The Holy One who is ready and willing to find us and hold us and help us do what we already know how to do. In our awakening, we can build resistance, we can deepen our compassion, and we can expand our capacity to stay grounded in life as it truly is, even as we continually pray for it to become the fulfillment of the divine dream of the Holy One. It's something we can do together. May it be so. May it be so for all of us.